Hello and welcome to my review of the Warlord Titan Mori Quake cannon from ForgeWorld. This weapon will set you back £92. It's a large amount of money, and apologies for not having this review out sooner, but I wanted to paint it. It does take me a little while. I think I did paint this weapon in a few of the live streams that take place on my channel on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now, it's not quite the most expensive weapon. Technically, the Warlord Titan laser blasters at £121 are the most expensive, followed by the Apocalypse missile launchers and then the Ariok Power Claw. The Quake cannon is the same price as the Sun Fury Pattern Plasma Annihilator, the Bellicosa Volcano Cannon, and the Macro Gatling Blaster. As always, we're going to have a close look at this weapon. We'll go through some size comparisons, we'll have a look at it on a completed Warlord Titan, and then we'll go through the rules for both Horus Heresy and 40k using these two books, the Mechanicum Tagmata for Horus Heresy and then the Imperial Armour Compendium book for 40k. So, Quake cannon itself, it was lovely to put together. I would say I had more fun putting this together than any of the other weapons. The Power Claw is nice. The Gatling Blaster, you can have a few issues with gaps on the barrels, with the barrels and the rotary cuff. And the Plasma Annihilator, you're going to have to build that in sub-assemblies. Whereas this one, much like the Volcano Cannon, you can build it in one go and have done with it, so to speak. It's a lovely weapon. It's very thick and girthy. I'm not quite used to this thickness compared to the Volcano Cannon. I painted it in my Legio colours, the Legio Xerxes. I've magnetised it on the top there. You can put a couple more magnets in if you really want, but you know, to have some option of movement. But then, for instance, if you're going to have a magnet there, you may see the other magnet there, and likewise, if you put a magnet there, you're most likely going to see it on the front as you lower the weapon. I've gone for a happy medium. I wanted it raised quite high up anyway, as it was firing off a shell. I like what I've done with it in terms of the paint. I chose to make the ammunition feed blue instead of just metal, because I wanted to give the opinion, I wanted to give the look of it that you know, that these are, you know, just ammo hoppers. Yes, they're ammo hoppers for Warlord Titan, but they come in all shapes and sizes and colours. This is just the loadout for today's battle. That's the look I wanted to go for. If I got another one, I'd paint it red and probably go for green cabling. Yeah, I really like this weapon. I've glued the armour plate on the side. That's what I do when it's finished. I like, I've gone for a little bit of soot around the barrel tip, and of course I painted the targeting lens at the front there. Yeah, there's bits and pieces of detail all over this. I've painted every single rivet. I've gone for skeleton horde over this cogitator. Don't know why, just think it works quite well. Yeah, obviously the rivets and the you know, grime and things on there, you know, did take quite a while, but yeah, really happy with this. Let's see how it compares with you know, a Volcano Cannon, a Bellicosa one at that. It seems as though with these weapons I have to get really tall on the older tripod, but that's the Volcano Cannon next to the Quake Cannon. You can see there that the Volcano is a little bit longer, but just doesn't have that girth, but it works very well next to a Volcano Cannon. I also have a Macro Gatling Blaster. Let's just move this down here. And this is a Macro Gatling Blaster without the armour plates on. There's just some armour plates that go on there that cover this area. The Gatling Blaster is probably the second longest. It's almost the same length in terms of where the cogitator sits, but the Volcano is still the longest weapon. And the Plasma, well, that's in pieces right now, because I wanted to do some sub-assembly with this one. But with the power of some editing at least, You've got a nice view there of how long the plasma annihilator is, and I would say that the plasma is again a little bit longer than the Quake cannon. Certainly I say girthier in terms of its shape, but the winner for the length at least is the volcano cannon, then the Gatling, then the plasma, and the Quake being the shortest, well, not including the power claw, of course. Not every day you see £400 worth of just weapons on the table, is it? Moving steadily on. So this is my part of the video where I will go through some size comparisons. I've already segued into the size comparisons between the other Warlord Titan weapons. Let me show you the usual suspects. So yes, that is right, you are seeing it correctly. That is a Space Marine right there. Space Marine could quite happily fit in the barrel of one of these weapons. A Space Marine launcher, if you will. Yeah, this gives you an idea of how big a Primaris is compared to the entire weapon of a Warlord Titan. And here it is on a Warlord Titan. It's kind of one of the best angles I can give you of this weapon. It looks very, very beefy weapon. It would look even more beefy with two of them. I really like the look of this weapon. That cogitator sets it apart. I think if it didn't have the cogitator, it would look a little bit odd. And we're now at a stage in the video where I will go through all of the rules. We'll go for the 40k rules first, because I'm hazarding a guess that there are more 40k players out there than Horus Heresy, but I will still go through the Horus Heresy rules. So you can find the rules of the Quake cannon in your 2020 Imperial Armour Compendium book. This isn't a review of the Warlord Titan, so I won't be going through its movement and ballistic skill and strength and all those kind of things, or the Void Shield rules. Please do check out my Warlord Titan review coming soon. The Mori Quake cannon itself, it's a range 280 inches. It's a heavy 3d6, strength is 14, armour penetration is -5, and a damage of 6. It's a blast weapon, and the weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. Wow. Okay, so it's now the longest range weapon that the Warlord Titan has. That used to be reserved for the Apocalypse missile launcher. I still believe that the Apocalypse missile launcher should be 280 inch range, or even 360 inches like it was before. It's a missile launcher that's mounted on the carapace. It should have a very long range. It is more than double the range of the Bellicosa Volcano cannon, so you can see why I'd want to pick one. In an engagement between two Titans, range is everything. I mean, obviously accuracy is as well, and void shields and defensive positioning, but still. How does it compare to the Volcano cannon, which is the one that you've probably heard the most of? Well, it technically has double the amount of shots. I mean, it's 3d6, so you could get 3, but then again the Volcano cannon could also get 3. Statistically though, the Volcano cannon is going to get 6 shots there, whereas the Quake cannon may well get 12. The strength is much lower, I'll give it that. It's only a strength 14, which means it's the same strength as a supercharged shot from a plasma annihilator. So when you put it like that, it's pretty strong. The armor penetration is still the same as a Volcano cannon at -5. The damage dealt is half though. You only get 6 damage instead of 12. One of the best attributes of this weapon though is it can target units that are not visible to the bearer. That only happens on one other weapon for the Warlord, which is the Apocalypse missile launcher. It's very, very strong. You have 2 of these on a Warlord, you're pumping out potentially 36 strength 14 AP -5 damage 6 shots at enemies that are not even visible. It's fantastic, it really is. The Gatling laser blaster isn't in this book, it's in the FAQ, so I won't compare it in this review. But you can't go wrong with the Mori Quake cannon, now that they've really nerfed the Bellicosa Volcano cannon. Yes, you're getting less strength, but you're getting the same AP, potentially more shots, half the damage, but it's that ability to be able to fire at units that are not visible. That's the key in all this. Let me go through the Horus Heresy rules then, where weapons are much, much stronger. So the Mori Quake cannon is a range minimum of 24 inches to 360 inches. It has the destroyer strength, then 9, then 6. So it uses a big apocalyptic blast marker for this. So everything in that, I say small circle, is a destroyer, but then it goes to 9, then 6. The armor penetration is 3. Now, that's not as good as the armor penetration on a plasma blast gun, or a Reaver volcano cannon, or even the Bellicosa volcano cannon at an AP at the armor penetration of 1. The ranges are pretty much 80 inches further in Horus Heresy than in 40k, and 60 inches further with the volcano cannon. It's a primary weapon 1, apocalyptic blast, seismic shock, concussive and strike down. Now the psychic shock rule is units which suffer wounds or hull points lost from this attack may only move at half their usual maximum movement, may not run, charge or go flat out, and count as being in dangerous terrain on their next turn. Now that would have been amazing if they'd have kept that with 40k. I think it used to have a similar kind of rule where they were shocked. You know, the explosion from one of these shells would completely disorientate the enemy and slow them down. But alas, they have removed that in 40k, which, yeah, I think isn't in line with the law. And I would have much rather have, of course, we'd all much rather have a Warlord Titan pumping out one Quake cannon shot at one Titan and one at the other, and reducing their movement by half, wouldn't we? But anyway, on that bombshell, what do you guys think of the Mori Quake cannon? I think it's a bit of a case of they've bumped up the rules because it's a new weapon for 40k and Horus Heresy, because it's a new weapon model for 40k and Horus Heresy for this Titan, but at the same time I think there needs to be an extra little rule to make it extra special, but everything else I'd keep. For range, and the king of all Quake cannons is still, of course, the Nemesis Quake cannon, if you don't count obviously the missiles that have unlimited range dotted about the place. But the Nemesis Quake cannon does have a minimum range but can shoot up to 480 inches away, has the same strength, armor penetration and damage, again is a blast, and again can target units that are not visible to the bearer. So what you're getting with that, the Nemesis Quake cannon, is an extra 200 inches of range, which again is very, very useful if you've got Warhound Titans sprinting towards you at 32 inches per turn. Very, very fast Scout Titans. So what do you guys think of the Quake cannon? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below as always. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.